The Model Assistant in Core 8 is designed to better highlight the power and integration of a true model-based approach. This is done while reducing some of the framework details needed to successfully implement MBSE. There are currently 5 options in the Model Assistant, and all 5 are enabled by default. This screencast will give detail on each option so that you can select which best meet the needs of your unique team. Let's take a look at each of the Model Assistant capabilities, starting with the Auto-Create Root Functions option. Root functions are an essential connector between the logical and physical aspects of the model. This option automates the process of creating a root function for every component you create, moving this sometimes cumbersome task behind the scenes. As we work through the features of the Model Assistant, we'll use a model I've created that captures an overview of making coffee. Notice that right now there are no elements in my model. I'll first create my top-level system component, Coffee System. Now, look at my project pane. Do you see where there's now an element in the function class? The Model Assistant created Perform Making Coffee functions and allocated it to my component. After creation, this function can be edited as you would edit any element in Core. Although logical and physical representations are usually shown separately, there are still views of the same model. Much as you can pick up a cube and rotate it to look at any given face, this piece of the Model Assistant allows you to look at your model from the perspective of interest. When working in the component class, if the component you are working on has a root function, Core will display the view tabs for the related logical representations. As your model expands to a greater level of detail and to multiple layers of decomposition, it is important that some elements inherit the conditions of their parents. With this option enabled, when you add a function to another function's decomposition, Core will automatically allocate the child's function to the same component as the parent. I'll add a few elements now that show the steps of making coffee during my workday. As I switch over to the property sheet view of one of my elements, let's look at the relationships. Notice this function has been allocated to the same component as its parent function. This is the Model Assistant at work. For many years, Core has had a filter that allows you to check for functions in your model that have not been allocated to a component. Because a condition of completeness also includes checking that leaf-level functions are uniquely allocated to a single component, the Model Assistant has an option that will alert you when you are creating a second allocated to relationship. All of my functions have already been allocated to a component. I'll now create a new component and allocate a function to it. Here's the Model Assistant at work again. This dialog will allow you to replace the current allocation with the new. Add the new allocation, thus allocating the function to multiple components, or to cancel the new allocation. In this case, I'll cancel the new allocation. Auto-relate on allocation will help you to reinforce the alignment, integration, and synchronization of your models by ensuring that every function performed by a component is in the behavior model of the component's corresponding root function. Here, I'm creating one last function, only this time I'm working from the entity relationship diagram. I'm creating a new function and now dropping it onto the component. Now, as I select the relationship, watch the activity diagram on the left side of the screen. When I allocated the function to a component, the Model Assistant worked for me by inserting the new function in the behavior model of the corresponding root function. The Model Assistant in Core 8 is ready to work for you. To view a description of the features, just click on Model Assistant in the project pane. Here, you'll find complete descriptions, and you can adjust the settings. Remember that all of the features of the Model Assistant are on by default. This concludes our introduction of the Model Assistant. If you have any questions or concerns, let me know. Email me at support@vitechcorp.com.